starts on June 14th, 1946, right in the busy neighborhoods of Queens, New York. Born on Flag Day, the guy came into the world already connected to a level of symbolism. Even if nobody knew it yet, his father, Fred Trump, was a strict, no-nonsense real estate developer who knew the business like the back of his hand. Fred wasn't flashy, but he was smart, disciplined, and tough. His mother, Mary Ann, was a Scottish immigrant, soft-spoken, deeply religious, and the emotional counterbalance in a house full of sharp energy. Trump grew up in a home that wasn't a billionaire-level rich, but definitely comfortable. The type of household that made sure the kids understood money, discipline, work ethics, and success. As a kid, Donald was not the quiet, easygoing child teachers love. Nah, he was loud, bold, restless, and always pushing boundaries. He'd talk back, break rules, and get into trouble more than his parents liked. His energy was big, disruptive, and honestly kind of overwhelming. His teachers would complain, "This boy needs discipline." And apparently, his parents agreed because by age 3, Donald was packing his bags for the New York Military Academy. That was their way of saying, "All right, boy, we need to straighten you out." But the wild part is, military school actually worked for him. He didn't shrink in that environment. He grew. He became more disciplined, competitive, and hungry for leadership. He was on the sports field, marching in formation, wearing uniforms, and getting accustomed to a structured life. He wasn't just another student. He excelled. That lifestyle sharpened him, giving him early experience in commanding attention and carrying authority. When college rolled around, Trump started at Fordham University, then transferred to the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. People often mention Wharton like it's some elite badge, and to Trump, he studied economics and got closer to the whole money-making game. During summers, he'd trailed behind his father on job sites, watching crews, listening to negotiations, learning how rents were collected, how buildings were renovated, and how deals were made. While other college kids were worrying about exams, Trump was absorbing the family business. He wasn't just looking at numbers. He was learning the psychology of real estate, the hustle, the negotiations, and the city mindset. Right after graduation, Trump officially joined the family business, Elizabeth Trump and Son. At first, his work wasn't glamorous. He was managing outer borough apartments, collecting rent checks, dealing with tenants, paint crews, broken boilers, the everyday grind of real estate that doesn't make headlines, but teaches you how the whole ecosystem works. It was humble work compared to what he wanted, because inside, Trump wasn't dreaming about Queens or Brooklyn. He was staring across the river at Manhattan, the tall buildings, the big money, the flashy lifestyle. He wanted that. He wanted the skyline, the fame, the luxury, the power, and he wasn't shy about it either. By the mid-1970s, Trump saw Manhattan in rough shape: bankrupt city government, high crime, abandoned buildings, graffiti all over. Most investors stayed far away. But Trump, he saw opportunity. He found this massive, worn-down building called the Commodore Hotel. It was ugly, crumbling, and losing money like crazy. But Trump saw the potential. He pushed for partnerships, convinced Hyatt to join forces, negotiated tax breaks from the city, and hustled in ways most young developers didn't dare attempt. And it worked. When the old Commodore transformed into the Grand Hyatt Hotel, New York finally turned its head and said, "Okay, this Trump kid's different." It wasn't just a business win, it was a brand-building moment. This momentum fueled his biggest dream yet: Trump Tower. Planning began late in the 70 Segundos, long before the gold doors opened. To Trump, Trump Tower wasn't just a building. It was a symbol, a monument to the image he wanted to project. He designed it to be bold, luxurious, and unforgettable. Marble floors, waterfalls inside, shiny gold, everything. The whole 9 yards. When Trump Tower finally opened, celebrities showed up. Wealthy families lined up to live there, and the media couldn't get enough of it. Overnight, Trump became a Manhattan icon, a young real estate mogul who wasn't just building structures. but constructing a public persona bigger than the buildings themselves. Amid all this hustle, Trump's personal life also expanded. He met Ivana, a former Czech model, an athlete with a fierce spirit and sharp business instincts. They married in 1977 and quickly became the city's favorite power couple. Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric were born during this phase, and the family soon became a regular feature in tabloids, magazines, and gossip columns. It wasn't just real estate Trump was building anymore. He was building a brand, a narrative, and a lifestyle that the media couldn't resist covering. By the late 1970s, Trump was everywhere. Interviews, magazine covers, high society parties, business conferences. He didn't wait for people to recognize him. He made sure they did. He networked loudly and marketed himself even louder. The Trump name started becoming a statement, not just a signature. People may not have liked him, but they knew him. And that was the whole point. He was positioning himself not just as a businessman, but as a public figure who demanded attention, whether positive or negative. And that's where his early story settles: a Queens kid with too much energy, molded by military discipline, sharpened by ambition, mentored by a tough father, and determined to take over Manhattan. The stage was set, the city was watching, and Trump was only getting started. The real fireworks, the fame, the controversies, the casinos, the bankruptcies, the television era, and eventually the political storm were still waiting around the corner. But the foundation of the Donald Trump we know today was built right here, in this first chapter of his life.